Hey guys, so at first I was gonna film a day in the life basically, and I had actually already started that video. Like, I went to mass, I went to Trader Joe's and stuff, but instead I've decided to turn this into a more like tip-like video of what it's like to go to San Francisco State and just to live in San Francisco in general. I think that's honestly the hardest part about going to San Francisco State, because rent is so expensive, and then you're left to live in a room with a girl and a cat and no living room. So, or you're left to live in a room with 3 other girls and 3 other girls in the next room and 2 other guys in the other room, where there's only 3 rooms and 1 small kitchen. Let's see. So, tip number 1. When I first got accepted into San Francisco, I'm from the Bay Area, from the East Bay, so it's not easy to commute, but it's commutable. Like, I could take BART and it would take me about 2 hours probably to get onto campus, which isn't terrible, but I'm not down for that. So I decided to move out, and I moved out here August 7th, 2016, so the summer that I graduated. And it was honestly so hard to find housing. Like, I had been accepted into the dorms, but the dorms are really expensive, and my parents aren't able to financially support me, so I kind of have to figure that out on my own. And it was gonna be like $1,200 or $1,300 per semester, and that was only including a meal plan for 5 days out of the week. So 2 days I would still have to find groceries or eat out. And so then, and obviously, like, when you're moving to a new city, you don't have a job. So I was like, I have like $800 in my savings. And like, honestly, I really did want to live in the dorms. Like, I put down my deposit and everything, $800 deposit. And then my parents were like, so, because, okay, really, I was hoping that my parents would want to help me with it. And then they were like, so how are you going to afford that? And I was like, oh. Okay then. So then I ended up getting my deposit back and trying to find housing off campus, and one of my best friend's cousins had an apartment off campus, but her rent was around $700, and I was like, yikes, like, I have no job, I have no financial support, like, how am I gonna do this? So then there was a Facebook group where a lot of Facebook students, a lot of SFSU students are on, and that's where basically everyone finds their housing, honestly. So here I am, 18 years old, fresh out of high school, trying to find roommates, and I was like finding people that were coming from SoCal, or like, I remember I found this girl from Scotland who I actually still talk to and went to visit in Europe, and I was trying to live with them, and then we were gonna put down a deposit on an apartment, and then the girl was like, oh, you know what, someone else already got the room. So it was a big mess trying to find housing. And then I found this girl, and she had a room that was gonna be shared with 2 other girls, I believe. That's what I had been told, I think. I can't fully remember. And the rent was gonna be $585 plus utilities. So I was like, ooh, this is a bargain. And it was a townhouse in Park Merced. That's where a lot of students live. And yeah, so then I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this. I didn't even meet them. I didn't see the house in person, nothing. I just kind of was like, you know what, like, it's already August, I need to start work soon, because I was gonna be working at the student store. So I was like, sold, I'm gonna get it. So then, and like, everyone was like, are you sure, like, you don't want to put down money on this, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh well, you know, like, I need to figure it out. And so yeah, I moved in with them, complete strangers, and I was pretty nervous at first, especially because I had never lived with like strangers, and there were gonna be 2 guys in the house, and I was just like, oh my god, what if something happens? This is college, like, what if they get drunk? I don't know. And so yeah, I was pretty nervous about it, but then everyone was really cool, and we all hit it off really well the first night that we were there. And so my living situation there was, I was in the master bedroom, so we had 2 bed bunks, or 2 bunk beds, and there were 2 per bed, obviously. And then we had our own bathroom in there. Our closet was tiny, literally so small. Only 2 girls put their clothes in there. I had one whole half of it. And then in the next room, there were 3 girls, and that was honestly a really tiny room. Like, their beds were basically the only thing that fit in there. And then the next room was the room with the 2 guys. It was a 2-story townhouse. So our living room was, honestly, it was a decent size. I thought it was a decent size. Our kitchen was super tiny, and we had 1 fridge for 9 people. So I ended up, there's always so much noise. I love it, especially when it's my day off and like I'm trying to sleep in. Love it. But anyway, so 1 fridge for 9 people, 1 kitchen for 9 people. Yeah, it was not ideal, and our rent actually wasn't even that cheap. We paid like $635 including utilities per person for 9 people. Like, that's crazy. Our total rent was always like 5,000 something. Yeah, so it was just, honestly, it sucked. Like, the only good thing about it was that we all got along really well, and honestly, they were like my family. Like, even though we fought a lot because everyone was super messy, I still genuinely love them, and I still talk to them. Currently, my rent is cheaper than last year, but I have no living room because we rent out the living room. So there's a girl and her boyfriend who live there, and then there's one other room, which I believe is the master bedroom. I'm assuming it looks like about the same size, and 1 girl lives in there, and then my roommate and I share this room. So yeah, it's a pretty small apartment too, really small kitchen, and it barely gets any lighting at all. So it can get pretty depressing in here, and I'm really used to sunlight. Like, back home, we have so many windows that it's just like you're gonna get sunlight and you're gonna deal with it. And yeah, my actual room never had a window, but I never spent time in that room because it was always so dark. So I was always in the living room filled with windows, filled with sunlight. Like, every time I go home, I'm like, wow, I love this house. Let me buy this house. So yeah, just like be ready to live without luxury, basically. Like, I'm not saying that my home was like, wow, the biggest place in the world and it just has like everything, because our shower back home sucks. That's one thing that I love here. But you're not home anymore. You're gonna have to make a home away from home. You're gonna have to figure out how to pay rent, and you're just gonna have to suck it up, because unless you're trying to pay $850 for your own bedroom or $1,000, because yes, that's honestly the average price to have your own bedroom, and even people who share bedrooms are still paying like $700. So really quick, I thought I would share my tip number 2, which is honestly super important. If you are declared as a major, like if you come in declared as something, I came in declared as a communications major, and I still am the communications major. So for my specific major, we have 2 different sheets that we have to follow. This one is for those who declared it 2016 and after. And then we have one, it just changed, I believe. So there's a new one if you declared it 2017 and after. So I'm still going off of this. If you're like, go to your major when you first come here, because even though your first year or 2 can be just GEs, you want to make sure that you're already fulfilling the prereqs for your major. Like, I had like 2, literally. Com 150 took my freshman year, and then English 214, which is the sophomore English, which I also took my first year. Excuse me. But yeah, this is going to be your roadmap for your entire college career, and this will tell you what classes you need to take, and like that you're not lost trying to figure out what to take and just ending up here for another 3 years because you took all the wrong classes. Like, I'm telling you guys, rent is not cheap. You don't want to do that to yourselves. But yeah, that's my second tip. Make sure you know what you're doing from the beginning. If you still don't have a major, then fulfill all your GEs as fast as possible and go to advising, see if they can help you find a major that suits you. If you're like, I'm not passionate about anything, then honestly just major in whatever you like in. Like if you like art, major in art. If you like writing, journalism, creative writing, like there's a major for everyone, honestly. Like there has to be something that you like. I'm not rolling my eyes in a bad way, I just do that. So since I am on campus, I decided to do tip number, I don't know what number this is, but basically at this school, I don't know about other schools, but this school you're kind of really on your own with things. You have to know, like you basically have to be on top of it because no one else is going to be following you around telling you what to do. It has to be you. And if you're not doing that, then you're going to end up falling because no one is here to hold your hand. Here's tip number whatever. Make sure you have a place on campus that you can call home, like a club or a sorority or fraternity, something that like where there's just a group of people that support you and you feel at home with, because I feel like that's super important when you're in college. You just need a support system, especially if you don't have like your best friend with you or if you live far away from home. It's so important. So it's literally almost 4 and I'm just now picking up my groceries because it's really been that much of a busy day today. So that brings me to this next tip. No matter how busy you are, always try to make time for yourself at least once a week, whether that be putting a face mask on right before bed, doing a hair mask, doing your nails. Always make time for yourself because college is stressful, my friends, so stressful. So you want to be able to reward yourself at least once a week and just de-stress, even if that's journaling maybe. Like I love journaling, but yes. And as I walk home all sweaty and red-faced, the weather in San Francisco is not very reliable. I'm wearing a sweater and jeans, but it's also sunny, but it's also kind of breezy. So you never really know what's gonna happen. Like it can get really foggy and then clear up out of nowhere. Or it can be super sunny and get super foggy out of nowhere. So always dress in layers. If you're from SoCal, don't expect sunny weather all the time. You're gonna get sunny weather once a month maybe, or never. So as I get ready to leave my house one more time, don't forget to eat. I know that sounds like a joke, and even when people would tell me that in high school, I was like, how do you forget to eat? But you generally do forget to eat. Like it's kind of like, oh, I haven't ate today. And you'll be in your 4th class of the day and be like, wow, how did that happen? It happens all the time to me. I know a lot of these sound like warnings, and they kind of are, just because college is literally no joke. When I graduated, I was like, I'm not gonna get involved in anything so I can finally have time to myself, and I'm gonna plan my own schedule and it's gonna be great. I really thought. I'm not involved with anything on campus. I work all the time and I go to school all the time. That's just how it ends up working out. My first year I was involved with a club on campus and I still did it last semester, but this semester has just been so hectic. Like I've been trying to figure out if I can study abroad next semester, so it's time consuming. That's what college is, time consuming. So yes, take these as warnings but also as tips. The beginning ones are real tips about how to survive at SFSU. So I hope this was helpful in one way. I hope I didn't scare you away, or like, I'm holding a knife. I don't mean to be. I'm gonna cut up some strawberries. But yeah, if this was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel and I'm obviously just getting started. So I really need your help, and don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you guys want to see about the life in the city or my life in general. Thanks guys. See you.